Welcome to the latest episode of Out for a Duck, the podcast with the consistency of Pakistan's top order. Joining me today is Yasser. Hi, Yasser. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you?
Not too bad.
Good to
So it's been
join
a while
again.
since we had our last episode. A lot is happening in
Right.
PSL. Before we go into talking about the teams and the players, and possible also looking at the playoffs, I just wanted to have a chat about the kits. They're horrible mostly.
Yeah,
Like the Multan Sultan kit, I've seen like local leagues have, as in I played
better
in local
kids.
leagues where we've
Right.
gone to the sort of a shop nearby and had kits made that are better
Better
quality
than right.
and
And
then we had
similarly
had
for the Hyderabad ones, right? So
yeah
uh, apparently, when they were actually um, making the ball go purple or something like that, right? So
yeah
uh,
made the balls pink.
pink.
Uh,
Yes, exactly.
yeah. So the Pindies kit, I don't like the design of it, but it looks professional. It looks like it's good quality, and it looks like
Yeah,
it's something that if you're a Pindi fan, you would go out and buy it. But
not the
given
bad.
how
Yeah,
Pindi are playing, I don't see a lot of fans lining up to
people
buy.
actually correct,
Yeah,
correct.
but that's another discussion.
And I was actually amazed with the name they came up with, right? So initially it was Windies and then it became Out Windies. I think I would have preferred if there was some more creativity, had gone into naming the team. Yeah,
Actually, I don't mind it. So Pindi, Rawalpindi, what I read was because PCP
yeah,
pushed back. They said that you need to have, because it's a Rawalpindi city team, it has to have Rawalpindi. So that's why they had to change it from Rawalpindis to Rawalpindis. But
okay,
I didn't
okay.
mind Pindis. Granted, it's not the most creative name, but
Yeah,
rather than putting Rawalpindi, I don't know, stallion or Ghoda, cheetah, whatever,
yeah,
it's something
true,
a little
true.
different.
Well,
It
I
is.
don't know. I mean, I think maybe we're not as creative, right? But you can obviously get creative people to name the teams, right? So, they better use at least use ChatGPT or Gemini to do that for you, right? So you can, I'm sure you can come up with good names, um, which is better than our Indies. Same thing with Jalkot Stallions, right? So I mean, you obviously have the domestic team Jalkot Stallions, and then now um, they obviously the Jalkot Stallions, the new team that basically auction, right? And then eventually became a Sultan eventually, right?
Yes.
So and they had named initially the team Sialkot Stallions with a Z, right? So I don't know what's a bit with adding Z at the end. It's you
It's a
probably
it's a
try
Gen
and
Z
come up
thing.
with a
Yes, it's not for. We're
sorry,
not going to
maybe I
understand
don't
it.
get it. Maybe that's why I don't get it.
We're too old for it now.
Yeah,
We're
too.
not the target demographic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do like Zalmi's skits. I think
Oh, I
they're
hate
always
it.
reasonably. I think it's okay. I mean, the especially I think they're one of the kids. Obviously, they have two or three kids, right? But one of the kids,
The
he
black and
wears
gold
the
was
black and gold. I think
yeah, and it's like
um,
the away kit.
that's their away kit. Correct,
Yeah,
correct, correct.
yeah. No, I agree that
Yeah.
that was nice. So
They also have a very
historically,
nice training kit. They also have a very nice training kit.
I'm not sure if maybe
It's
I've seen
it's
the
on,
training kit.
if you try and go to one of the platforms where they're actually, marketing
Yeah.
those kits and selling those kits, then you'll see basically all three variants of them.
Historically, I think they've had very good kits. This year, I'm just
Yeah,
not. Again, they look good in the sense that they look professionally done and the quality
correct.
looks nice. I just
Yeah.
not a fan. They've added too many colors, like this variation of
Oh
purple
yeah,
and pink
not
going.
the yes, yes. That's the one I don't like. You're right.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yes. I'm talking about the black and gold and then
yeah,
their
black gold.
training kit that I quite like.
I really like the Karachi kit.
Karachi's one is good. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
Historically, I think Karachi's have not had very nice kits. They've had very boring kits. But this year they got it right.
yeah, yeah.
And conversely, Lahore usually has interesting kits. I felt this year it was like they didn't try.
Yeah.
Yeah. But beyond the kits, talking about the teams, so let's talk about the teams first. I
Yeah.
was pleasant. Well, Sialkot and Karachi were my picks in I think the first episode that we did. I thought they would do very well. And
Yeah.
Sialkot is obviously now Multan Sultan. So Multan Sultan doing well, I'm not surprised. Karachi doing poorly, that's a bit surprising. They started off strong, then Warner got
Yeah.
injured, and since
Correct.
then, now I think they're probably going to struggle reaching the playoffs. So for you, which team has impressed you?
I
Or
mean, look,
opposite?
I think Zermi has done really well. And they, you know what, Zami always ends up doing well in PSL, or mostly ends up doing well, right? So they tend to have a good tournament. Most of the times, I think Lahore Qalandars is generally the one which is neither here nor there. You never know what you're going to get from LQ, right? They will either be right at the bottom, or they'll end up winning, getting on a run, and they'll end up winning 5, 6 games, on the go, and then end up qualifying for playoffs and carry the momentum forward, right? So it happened to them last year. I think they had a good season. Um, this year, I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, it's been a bit disappointing, I think, and they also have the controversy with Fakhr Zaman, right? Some ball tampering thing came out. I think they lost him up at. I mean, they probably missed him at top of the order for a while, for a few games. Um, uh, Pindi has been completely disappointing. I think there was a piece on Cricket that I read with regards to Rizwan. I think he hasn't performed as a captain, as a player. His game, I think, in T20 game has gone downhill quite drastically. And it's not just this season. I think he had a very poor season last season as well. So last year was quite bad for him. It's good to see Baba Azam coming back to form. I think he's got the right mix of he's played with a bit more freedom, um, and he's played I think few good innings. Century, I think, the last game, 350s. I think is his hit. And he has, I think, balanced the anchor role with a bit of aggression, I think, quite nicely. So I'm quite pleased to see Baba getting some runs and going back in form, and playing, I think, in that setup as an opening probably helps. Like Harris has done not so badly. He's done
Done
okay.
okay. As in, I had him
Mendes is
for
mm,
one of the players that I was really looking forward to. He
mm,
started well. He has started
yeah,
every innings, reasonably well,
yeah,
but he's not been able to post those big scores.
yeah.
Um, and I think that's a little bit worrying. Thinking a little ahead, none of our potential keepers in this PSL have performed. Haris, Hasibullah, Usman Khan, Rizwan,
Yeah, yeah,
Nafe, none of them have really stood up and said, Azam Khan
correct.
have stood up and said that,
True.
they want the wicketkeeper slot for the national
But
team.
barring an odd good innings here and there, right? Alvin played a good innings, I think one good innings in between. Similarly for, I think, Loftus played probably one good innings, I think, in between. Rizwan has done absolutely nothing throughout. You like Sifullah Khan, I think maybe got a few 20s and 30s, but nothing of substance. You're absolutely right. I think um, that doesn't look too good in that.
Yeah, but just going quickly
Karachi,
back to Babar.
you're right. So I think in terms of teams, Karachi, I think, has been a disappointment. I
Yeah,
thought Karachi would probably, they had a balanced team, they had a good
they had a very
team.
good team.
I thought they would do well. They haven't. Um, and Lahore, I think again has been a disappointment for me. I think with a bit of controversy, and the team hasn't really worked very well. I think in this year. So.
Islamabad has done well in patches, and I'm still picking them to reach the playoffs. They're in good shape for that.
Mm,
They've been a bit inconsistent, but they've done
yeah,
well in patches, and some of the individuals done very well.
yeah,
Samir Minhas is one of my picks at the start,
correct.
who I was looking forward to. He's done very well. Generally, actually, both the Minhas brothers, Arafat
Yeah,
Minhas and Samir Minhas, both have done
yeah.
well. They're playing for different teams, so.
Mm.
And then, just going quickly back to Barber, yes, it's very pleasing to see him back in the runs. And what was very nice to see about his innings yesterday, that in a 52 ball innings, he had one dot ball.
Yeah.
So that strike rotation is something that he has struggled with up at top of the order. It is going to give us a dilemma for selection when it comes to the national team.
Mm.
And given the performance in the World Cup, we were probably expecting Barber will get dropped. But
Yeah,
with the way he's performed in the PSL, I would imagine the next time the squad gets picked, he's going to get selected. Then do you
yeah.
put him in the top of the order? Do you put him in the middle order? He was batting at, I think, number four
Three,
in the World Cup.
four, yeah. Four, I
Three was
think
Aga
three
and
like
four was Barber.
four was Baba.
Um,
I think I don't think
Bar-
I don't think four suits him, to be honest. Um, I mean, I know they were trying to give him the anchor role to be fair, that, he becomes the anchor and other players can come in and play around him a little bit. But if you want him to be an anchor, um, then have him up top, right? Have him open the innings and have the other guys around him just to go for all in, right? So, and he gets to play his role, in a way that he probably likes playing it, right? Um, I mean, it was a bit of a, I don't know. I mean, I didn't quite follow exactly what they were trying to do, playing him at number four, right? So it was not a place
Well, number
for
four was
him.
because there was a 2 3 year period where he was consistently opening and consistently being unable to take advantage of the power play, batting at a strike rate of 100, sometimes even less than 100 in the power
Yeah.
play.
But
So
that being
he's
said,
really benefit.
that was with Rizwan on the other end,
Yeah.
right? So
But even without Rizwan, they tried with him opening with Saim. I think he also opened with Fakhr. He was just not able to
rotate.
consistently get into the runs. So in the current Zalmi setup, he's really benefiting from having Haris up at the top of the order and
Tremendous.
then Mendes coming in, and both are batting,
Yeah.
with 150 plus strike rate. Um,
Yeah.
you look at the nice settlement, and we're getting ahead of ourselves, and maybe after the PSL we do an episode just looking at what the structure of the team would be going forward. But if you think
Yeah.
about the options we have at the top of the order,
Hmm.
Farhan, Samir Minhas, um, Saim has not had the greatest PSL, but I still think there's a place for him in the team. Mas Sadakat played very well in Bangladesh, and he in patches done well in PSL as well. You
Yeah.
have Fakhr Zaman, notwithstanding the ball tampering controversy, he's had a couple of very
You
good
can make it.
innings
Yeah.
in the PSL and also the World Cup. We have five options that, other than Babar, who have a stake a claim to being the top three. So in that, where do you fit Babar in?
So why wouldn't you go with, well, I think again we're getting ahead of ourselves, but you can have Farhan, who's done very well top of the order. You have Farhan and let's say Babar coming in. Minhas one down. You can have, I mean, Master could maybe at some point, we could look at him, for a role in the team, but Fakhr can play down the order, right? So Fakhr is probably better suited than Babar Azam to play down the order. I think he can accelerate much quickly in his innings than Babar can, and he actually has more shots than Babar. I think in terms of power hitting. He has a better power hitting game, I think, than Babar does. So I think Fakhr can play down the order. I wouldn't mind playing Fakhr at four, for example, and having Babar at two. Um, Harris has done okay. I think international setup, hasn't done much, barring a few good innings here and there, but he hasn't done much, I would say. Harris struggles. And that's it, right? So maybe you have a
You
good
have,
core for Aga, then
well, Aga's
um,
had a horrible PSL, and I read somewhere that he's actually considering temporarily retiring from T20s to
T20.
focus on ODIs and tests. I don't know how true
Okay.
that is, but that was.
Mm.
But you look at the top order options, right? Who've done well? Sabzada Farhan, Samir Minhas, um, Maas Sadakat. Question mark. He did well in the Bangladesh PSL, done well in patches. Saima
Yeah,
Yu, I'm a big fan of his. I know his PSL hasn't been great.
yeah, yeah.
I think then you
And
also
and
have,
last tournament wasn't great either, right? So
sorry,
for Simon, you last tournament wasn't great either, right?
yeah,
So
but he's young, as in I think
yeah,
he has
yeah,
a future with the team. You have
correct.
then Fakhr Zaman, that's five already.
Yeah.
How do you fit those five in the top three plus Babar? So six players vying for top three
Four?
spots.
Yeah, I mean, I
Four?
would say top four, right? So top four you can, right? Yeah, top four I think I
Yeah,
can.
6 is 6. Another player that I've been really impressed with this PSL, and this is also considering the next World Cup is going to be in Australia, Shan Masood.
He
He's been
has
playing
done
middle
well.
order,
Yeah,
so that's good for us because we're already too many options at the top of the order. He's doing very well in the middle order.
correct.
I think, and looking back to the 2022 World Cup, which was in Australia, which we made the final to, Shan Masood was batting at four, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 5, and he was doing pretty well. So those bouncy
He's
pitches
been
he will
okay.
enjoy.
Yeah, I agree.
And so yeah, so that's another player that that I've been pretty impressed with.
We should keep an eye on.
Um,
I mean, exactly. I think if Aga's story comes out to be turns out to be true, then I think Masood can slot in, right? So we replace Iman Aga with Shah Masood on the team.
I would argue that even if it's
Keeper is
not
a
true,
problem for us. Yeah,
yeah, keeper's problem. But at the start of the tournament, I picked Haris as one of my players to watch out for, and he's also a top order player. He's struggled when he's been playing down the order, but he hasn't been consistent enough so far in the PSL and also in international cricket to force his way in. But he can be a very good option at a 6 or a 7 because he has the ability from ball one
yeah,
to go and hit.
yeah.
So I would rather have him than
Usman.
Usman Khan.
Okay.
Considering that we have a lot of top order options, we have one or two really good middle order options. I'm still a fan of Shadab, and I think he's done reasonably well in PSL. And he's somebody
Yeah.
who can play in that 5 to 6 role. You can send him in when you are 12 overs or 13 overs into the innings, and ask him to play sort of not necessarily anchor role, but play a little more sensibly for 3 4 overs, and then accelerate the last 2 overs. As in, again, we're getting ahead of ourselves in terms of looking at the squad, but I think he has a stake. So having then someone like a Haris coming in at a 7, Hassan Nawaz, I think he's done very well, although Queta's playing in a slightly different role. They're playing him at 4,
Yeah.
and even that he's doing very well. To me, Hassan Nawaz is an excellent number 6. He comes in over 16, 17, 18, and he can tee off from ball one.
Correct.
Haris
Correct.
would be the same.
Okay.
I would have him down the order at 7, and his job would be to hopefully he doesn't have to bat earlier than the 15th over, but he's someone who comes in when there are 3 overs left and tee off from ball one.
Yeah.
Just rounding off the discussion on players. So a couple of players that I've been disappointed with. Aga Saman, one. He's had a
Hasn't
very
done
poor
anything.
PSL.
Yeah.
Rizwan, we've spoken about. I was actually expecting Rizwan to do well. I was expecting the other way around. I thought Babar might struggle this PSL, and I thought Rizwan would have a good season. But
Yeah.
he's been extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
Um, Haris we spoke about, as in he's done well. He started off well, but he's not kicked on and made a big score. So hopefully with these couple more matches, if he can get 1 or 2 good innings, that kind of cements his place in the 11. Anyone else for you that has disappointed or impressed?
I was expecting Shaman Hussain, this
Yeah, that's
up
what I'm
and
saying.
coming player, I think to do well. He hasn't done much. Yasir Khan, I think, had a good start to the PSL. I think he played one good innings in the very beginning.
He was just biased
He has
because of the name.
maybe he hasn't done much.
Huh.
Fakhar, I thought would probably play better. I mean, uh, uh, obviously, I think he obviously had the controversy to deal with. Then, other than that, I think no one else I could think of. Yeah, I think um, these are the guys that
Looking
I thought might do well. Azam Khan, I thought might be better as well. Might perform. He hasn't done much.
Sufyan Mokin is one of the players that I said I was keen to watch out for. He's done
Yeah,
excellent.
in bowling, yes, correct,
Yeah,
correct, correct. So I think most of the guys we've been naming, they've been batsmen, right?
yeah,
So on the bowling side, I think Shaheen has done okay.
yeah,
Um, Again, I think he's the second or third highest wicket taker this PSL so far.
second. Yeah,
His economy rate is pretty good. I think under
mm.
7.
And a 7.
On these sort of flat pitches, I think he's done quite well.
Yeah,
Sufyan has done very well. Um, I think that's it, right? I think we need better fast bowlers, right, coming through. More
yeah.
fast bowlers coming through, right?
That's been I think the little bit disappointing factor of this
Yeah.
PSL because if you look at previous seasons,
Mm,
Haris Rauf was discovered through PSL. We
mm,
had Dhani, Hasnain,
mm.
Ehsanullah, Zaman Khan. These players
Correct.
all were discovered through PSL
Yeah.
or came to
What's
light.
what's hap- what's Sanala doing? Is he playing?
he was selected by one. So Ehsanullah, the problem was that a few years ago he had his injury, and then the medical team, the PC medical team, really messed him up. So that really
Yeah,
destroyed his pace. He was picked up by one of the teams. I can't remember which one. I don't think he's played any games. Hasnain was picked up very last minute on the auction, and I'm forgetting now which team. He's played one game only. I'm disappointed. I thought he is a good
mm,
prospect.
yeah,
Dhani has been picked up by one of the squads. I don't think he's played any games.
yeah.
So these are players. Zaman Khan got injured just before, and
Okay,
that's
my
also
contact
hampered
into that. Yeah,
Pindi because Pindi had lost two bowlers, right? They've
yeah.
lost Naseem Shah and Zaman Khan. That
It's a
was
nice one.
the core of their bowling lineup.
Bowling.
Uh, the disappointing thing about this PSL has been that no quick bowler has
No
emerged.
new quick bowler has emerged, but
Yeah,
Hassan Ali is third or fourth highest wicket taker again,
yeah.
right? So I think he's been amongst the wickets, although going for runs.
Haris
Um,
Rauf has gotten tonked by at 10.
yeah, Harris. I mean, again, I don't think he's done anything this PSL, right? So, and this is after him coming from, um, well, performing very well at the BBL, right? And then obviously he didn't go to the World Cup afterwards. But I think he's had a very uh, poor PSL.
The Shah brothers, Hunain and Ubaid, they've done
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, nothing of note in my view.
Nothing.
He
Uh,
doesn't stand right.
Ali Reza was somebody. He's only played, I think, I was looking at it earlier today,
Mm.
3 or 4 games. I think
Okay.
he's come through the under 19 ranks and he's done very well at the under
Yeah.
19 level. He's done okay. He's taken a few wickets, but he's only played 4 games.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a potential there. But yeah, I think we were hoping that this PSL will unearth some new bowlers that will take us forward.
Arafat Panhas is a good potential.
Yeah, but
The
he's a spinner.
he's spinner, correct. But
He's an all-rounder, spinning
as an all
all-rounder.
rounder, sort of, is an
Yeah.
all rounder. I think
Um,
he's got potential.
Usman Tariq has had a he's had a
Okay.
couple of good games, but I would say average PSL. And that was kind of my
Yeah.
worry with him that there's a novelty to his bowling, which is going to wear out. Um,
Correct. He'll
Abrar
get found
started
out and then
very
that's
well,
it. Mm.
but now he's kind of also fizzled, and
Yeah.
that middle's kind of Queta's
Yeah.
campaign as well. They started strong and then they kind of fizzled.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a couple of things to look forward to for the remainder of the PSL. Um, we missed the episode where we are going to do a predictions about the playoffs. So now we're kind of deep into the tournament, but we can still
Right.
sort of take a venture on who do we think are going to be the four. Zalmi is already through. Mathematically, Sultan are not through, but I think they're looking in really good shape. I'd be
Yeah.
very surprised if they didn't finish,
Yeah.
in the top three. Um, Islamabad, they can be knocked out still. I am expecting them to go through
Okay.
because I think the balance of the squad is very good.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you feel Islamabad going to go through?
What's your? I think Sam would be good. I think my top three are exactly as they are currently in the table, which is
Yeah.
Zalmi, Multan, and Islamabad. I think it's my fourth game. I am slightly leaning towards Hyderabad.
Gonna say the same. So they started off poorly, and then it was between
Yeah,
them and Pindian. If either of them will win a game,
correct,
they're a
correct.
bit of a momentum.
Momentum, correct.
3 games in a row. I agree. I think they've got a good chance. But to make things a little interesting, since you are saying Hyderabad, um, we're both from Lahore. I'm going to go Lahore just because want my home team to go through, even though
Yeah,
they're not looking great. But they won their last 2 games or last game.
I think it was the last game.
Last
Yeah,
game.
they
Okay, I
won
was
the
thinking
last
maybe
game.
they won 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll go to Lahore just because I'm Lahori,
yeah,
so hopefully home team. And now it's easier for me to support Lahore now that Akib Javed is
yeah.
not associated with them. So I
Yes,
feel
yeah.
a lot more
Likewise.
comfortable supporting them. Um, Karachi is the disappointing one. I thought on paper their team looked about the strongest.
Yeah.
Um,
So it
and
looks
then
like so all four teams. Koita has played obviously 8 games, so they played most number of games. but Hyderabad, Lahore, Karachi, they all have the same number of points, and they've all
It's
played
points.
7 games, right?
Yes.
So, but obviously, I think in terms of net run rate, Karachi is way down at the bottom. Um,
Lahore is not far off.
Lahore is slightly better. Um,
Slightly.
yeah. So who do we have? What games do we have left? So I think we have Quetta's got Lahore and Karachi. Hyderabad has Multan, Islamabad, and Pindi.
Mm.
Okay, and then Lahore has Quetta, Karachi, Zalmi. Karachi has Zalmi, Lahore, Quetta. Okay, in terms of run-in, I mean, look, I think Hyderabad could probably win 2 of those 3, right? So I would say Quetta can probably win 1 of the 2. Um,
What
and
is Lahore's? Let me see. I had it open
Lahore is
earlier.
Lahore is Lahore is Quetta, Karachi, Zalmi.
Quetta, Karachi, Zalmi. Ah,
Mm.
the argument two of the three.
Lahore can win 2 of the 2, yeah, 2 of the 3, yeah. So then we can now let one way, right, in the end. So and Hyderabad currently has probably the better run rate. We'll see. I think
We were talking about
the
name.
good thing is they've got momentum. So they've won 3 games, and so it's possible.
We were talking about names earlier. I still cannot
Mm.
understand Hyderabad, Houston, Kingsman.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Creativity lacking. Creativity.
lack thereof. So the group, if not mistaken, who owns Hyderabad, they own a franchise. I don't know if it's in the US T20 league or one of the minor leagues within US. But that's not a
Mm.
Houston team. So that team was married Houston, and I could understand why they were trying to create that link. But it's not that team is not Houston. I think that's Chicago or something like that. So I just could not understand the why Houston was inserted. But anyways, in the interest of time, there's another big news that we had this week
Yeah,
was the announcement of the Pakistan test squad. So there's the test squad itself, and then there's the team management that has been overhauled. Let's
yeah,
talk about the squad first. So a couple of
yeah.
surprises. So a few people have been dropped. Kamran Ghulam, Abrar, Asif Afridi, and Abdullah Shafiq are out.
Mm.
So my thoughts is that if you look at the playing, let's not look at the squad. Let's look at the likely 11.
Yeah,
So for me, there are two surprises. One is Shafiq. So Shafiq was branded as our next batting grade. I can't remember off the top of my head how did he perform in that South Africa Test series. I'm guessing he didn't perform that spectacularly, but still, I would have liked to have seen him remain in the squad
mm.
because we now have just Imam Al Haq and one of the four new players. I'm forgetting one of them as an opener, and the other option is Shan Masood. I think in one of the matches against South Africa, maybe the second match, in order for the team balance, they did push up Shan Masood to open. I think that was to accommodate both Babar and Ghulam in the 11. So then they
Yeah,
pushed
fine.
Babar to three and Ghulam played. The other surprise is
Yeah,
Ghulam. He is like Saud Shakil, perform extremely well domestically over a long period of
yeah.
time. He's earned this spot. He's not done anything wrong in the setup. It just feels like he's been dropped to accommodate Barber at four to make sure that there's no question mark about who will play at four. But curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I think uh, it's a series that they're using to test out some new cases, right? So I think um I I think the team, I mean, the current names that come out, Azan West, right? So he's been performing reasonably well over the last couple of seasons. I think he's done quite well. So having him, I think, in the team probably on form and domestic form, I think is okay. Um,
Is he opener?
I have
Is he the opener?
I think he's the opener, correct?
Okay.
So Azan, I think has done reasonably well in domestic setup. Um, has a good average. Played a number of first class games. So he's coming in the team on the back of good performances, right? So I think that I would probably be I quite like that pick. Shah Masood, obviously Babar Azam, Ramal Haq, um, Rizwan and Ghazi Gori, right? They're the keepers. I think Rizwan will probably stay in. Saman Ali Aga, Saud Shakir. I think those guys pick themselves, right? The team itself. So there wasn't much doubt about Saman, Saud, Babar, Shamasu. These four guys for me, in terms of test team, I think would probably be picks. Right?
Barber
You
would.
probably you don't think about Babar. I think Babar,
And I used to be a big fan of Barber, and for the
yeah,
longest time, despite his runs, I was like adamant that he needs to be in the squad. And probably his recent form in other formats is justifying. Hopefully he's turning a corner. But if you look at our test team for the last 12, 18 months, granted we don't play a lot of test matches, he hasn't scored any centuries. He was dropped for Kamran Ghulam. Kamran Ghulam came in his first match and scored a century. Then Babar was brought back in the following series, and I think he was played at number three to accommodate both him and Kamran Ulam. And
mhm,
from what I can remember, definitely there was no century. I don't think there
yeah,
was, maybe there was an odd 50. So over the last 18, 24 months, I don't think, I'm not saying that he should not be in the squad. I
yeah,
just feel that Kamran Ghulam has had to pay the price just to make sure that there's no question mark around who will be at number four when they're playing
yeah,
11 is select. And I think
yeah.
that's quite unfair on Cameron Grant because he has a
True,
volume
true.
around in domestic that he's built up. He should have a lot
Yeah.
of credit in the bank.
What, what,
And
what
I should,
is what is Abdullah Fazal? Is he a batsman?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I think he's. So that's where that was a question mark for me. I thought Abdullah Fazal is probably a batsman. I think that's where Kamal Ghulam should have stayed in the squad, right? So I did think the Azan West his pick was probably the right one. I think he's coming in and Jason Blair, Abdullah Shafiq, right? Wasn't done much, I guess, right? In Pakistan setup for a while now. So they're bringing someone in with a whole lot of runs as an opener to try and see what he does at the international level. So Imam Haq, I think, has probably done okay. Azana West, I think, has done okay. This Abdullah Fazal, I think, in the squad, I thought probably Kamal Gulam would deserve, you know, his place in the squad itself. But everyone else, I think, was, you know, picked himself, like, um,
Yeah.
Abbas on Bangladesh pitches,
I
what
would
do you
have him in
think?
mind. I would have him in the squad, irrespective
Yeah,
of
true. I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm a big
condition.
fan of Abbas. I'm a big fan of Abbas, right? So, Khurram Shahzad, I think he played last series. I think he did okay.
He's done very well.
Um, Hassan Ali, I'm not so sure as a test match bowler.
Yeah, the good thing
Maybe
about Hassan
maybe
Ali
maybe
is
four 5 years ago, but now I don't think so.
no, so I think they brought him back for the South African series, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if he played or not, but I think he was in the squad. I think at the domestic level fast bowlers, we don't have a lot of options. Hassan Ali experienced, and the good thing is, especially on these lowish pitches, he's very good sort of wicket to wicket. He can consistently bowl in the stumps, and if there's any variable bounce, he'll exploit
Hmm.
that. But I think he's more
Yeah.
there because we really don't have. The other option would have been Mir Hamza, who I think was doing reasonably well, but he was dropped. Definitely, he was dropped for the South African series. I can't remember if he was dropped before that as well. So he was doing him and Khurram Shahzad were kind of our test match bowlers for a couple of series, and they were doing reasonably
Yeah.
well. And then quite suddenly he dropped off the radar, and Shaheen was brought in. But we're probably also got one too many fast bowlers on in the squad, given it's
Correct. Correct.
Bangladesh.
Yeah, so
Um,
you're most likely going to play Noman, Sajid, I think Shaheen, I guess, right? And one of Abbas or Shahzad, right? Depending on the conditions, I guess.
yeah,
Two fast bowlers. So and Salman can bowl, right? Salman Ara,
one can bowl.
he can bowl. Saud Shakil, I think, can exam around a little bit.
Aga,
Um,
Aga Salman.
Salman Aga, yeah, but he will bowl,
Yeah.
right? So,
What I find surprising is that they didn't take a third spinner. So I was not a fan of Asif Ridi, and I was surprised when he was picked for the South
mhm.
African series. But even Abrar is not in the squad. So what happens if Noman or Sajid Ali hurt their finger in the morning of the Test match? We don't have a backup spinner. And what if happens if they create a a spinning wicket and played, three spinners. Bangladesh put in three spinners and then one quick, so we
Yeah,
don't have a third spinning option.
yeah, yeah.
That I'm surprised. Um, so the other big news from the squad
Yeah.
announcement is that we've completely overhauled our backroom staff.
Coaching.
So
Right.
we knew that was going to happen because Azhar Mahmood basically decided to his contract was not going to last up to
Mm.
this point anyways, but he
Yeah.
decided to step down right after the South African series.
Yeah.
Before I go into my thoughts, I'm curious, what do you think about Safraz, Hassan Shafiq, and Gol as our backroom staff?
I mean, I think I'm okay with it. I personally rate Umar Gul quite highly. I rate him quite highly as a bowler. I think we are lacking good fast bowling skills with our fast bowlers. I think he was quite a good fast bowler during his time, right? Has a lot of wickets, in pretty much all the formats. More suited, obviously, for T20 and ODIs, I think, but still, like he was a skillful bowler. So having him around, I think, is definitely, I think, helpful. That's my view. Um, Asif Shafiq, again, not a bad pick. I think he did okay. Um, good, good,
As a player,
good.
yes.
As a player, yes, right. So I think he was part of the setup, part of the team that became number one test team at some point. Right? And then he was a key part of that team. He did quite well as a player. Um, he seemed like a player who would do okay under pressure as well. Right? So he played quite a few good innings under pressure for us. So I did rate him quite highly coming in with a middle order as a batsman. Right? So Safraz, leadership ability, I thought Safraz had good leadership ability, skillful. I think when it came to strategy, coaching experience, I don't know. We'll figure out. It's a very different like thing versus being captain of a team, right? So, but I don't mind it. I think it's a reasonable setup. I thought okay with it.
I have mixed feelings. So let's talk about, Safraz first. I agree. As a man manager, he was a very good captain. He has been part of the Shaheen setup and then under he setup for the last few months, so he's gotten some exposure.
Mm,
But he has no coaching experience at a first class level, at a domestic level. He's never coached a Red Bull squad, and to now thrust him into head coach of our team, to me, it is almost a reflection of the importance that we're giving to the test setup. That is, and then probably also for good reason. Like there's very limited interest in Test cricket in Pakistan,
mm,
and we went through a phase where we went out of our way to get Jason Gillespie. That was a disaster. Uh, that was a self-made disaster. We didn't give him a
correct,
long enough run.
correct.
That was a self-made disaster. And then now, kind of out of the blue, we brought in somebody who was actually playing domestic cricket till not too long ago. Was it the Test squad not that long ago? He played a couple of Test matches out of the blue
Hmm.
a few years ago, where he replaced
Hmm.
Rizwan.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think bringing in someone that green, it could work, but I think the fact that we brought him in, it just means it's a little bit of reflection of how much importance we're giving to Test cricket. And then going at Umar Gul and Asad Shafiq. So Umar Gul, I'm with you. I'm a big fan of his, but he was always more of a white ball specialist.
Yep.
To bring him as a red ball coach. He's done a little bit of coaching. I think he was also our bowling coach for a little bit of time. He's also, I think, had some experiences coaching with one of the PSL teams. But
Hmm.
he has been, and coaching and as a player was probably more a white ball specialist, and we brought him as our red ball coach. And Hassan Shafiq, to the best of my knowledge, has no coaching experience. So all three excellent players, but we're bringing in all three of them with no coaching experience, and we're giving them the test squad. And if we're serious about making a good fist of this World Test Championship and try to make it to the final, we're not showing it. I just feel it's a little bit of reflection of how much importance right now we're giving to the test team. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being a little
Look,
harsh.
I think you're being a little harsh. Yes, you're right. Look, I mean, I think you have to put people in certain situations to see, what they're made of, right? So, um, and all three um, are are not bad calls, right? But they're good sort of players, ex-players with a certain skill set, good skill set, right? And in Safar's case, obviously a good captain, good man manager, and in Umagul's case, I think it's more he was skillful, right? So he had the right skills and he had the right wicket taking ability, right? So and for a lot of the test matches, he played on sort of dead wickets anyway, right? So he was part of the team at that point where we were still playing in the UAE for a lot of our matches, right? So and he was a workhorse, right? So he would come in, he would bowl his, overs, over after overs. He was supremely fit, um, and try to get, whatever wickets he could find, right, on those setups. Um, so I think, look, I mean, he is skillful, and what I when I look at our bowlers these days, I struggle to see the skill, right, in those bowlers. And I think then it's probably useful for them to have someone around them who can communicate, talk to them in their language, communicate with them, and who's seen it, done it all, and guide them through, right? So Ashik Shafiq, I think another player, mentally strong, uh, good, skillful batsman. And I think there's been too much emphasis on players coming in and trying to play a T20 game in Test cricket, right? So, or they don't have the right mental um, view on how to switch their game, right? So how to become a bit more aggressive, how to play defensive, and they end up playing in two minds, right? So it's good to have a player who was predominantly a Test match player to come in with the test match team, with the test match setup, and sort of give that sort of test match calmness to the players, right, to the batsmen. So I look at all three of them, and I think there are positives. There are more positives and negatives in all three of them. And I'm quite sort of interested to see how this plays out, right? So we don't play a lot of test matches. These all three of them are quite young. I think obviously young in terms of their coaching careers, but also young in terms of they have played recently in the domestic setup, right? So they know the players, they've been around the players, they're considered seniors to some of these players anyway. So it's easy access for, or they become more approachable, right, to the setup, to the players, right? So, and you also need to have a good connectivity with the captain. And I think Sean Masood and Safraz and this coaching for the backroom staff, I think they can work okay together. So I would like to see how it plays out.
So my challenge is individually, all three are they have a lot of positives. Collectively, putting all the entire backroom staff that doesn't have any significant coaching experience, I can think that's where
Mm,
my challenge is. But talking about players who have been in the setup and maybe were groomed to become coaches, Abdul Razak. He was brought into the fold a few years ago. He was made,
mm,
I think, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's coach, and that
mhm,
year they won all the three tournaments, first
mhm.
class, List A,
Really?
and
Okay.
the T20.
Mhm,
Then this is when we had under I forget the names now. When we had trial with the couple of years where we had a six-team setup. I was under San Mani and Wasim Khan.
right. Yeah.
So he was made one of the, and then the next year he was they swapped around the coaches and he was made coach for either Lahore or Karachi. I think Lahore, one of the teams from Lahore, and that team also did pretty well. Not sure since then what he's been doing, but he was the kind of a player that an ex-player who was kind of brought into the system as a coach, given experience, exposure, did very well. So I would have liked to have seen someone like him, or maybe even as a Mahmood, given a longer run. He basically was head coach for one series only, rather than bringing a completely green coaching setup. Individually, all three have a lot of positives that completely line with it, but
Yeah.
collectively
Yeah.
bringing all
Yeah.
three of them with very limited coaching experience, That's kind of my question mark is, and to me, just it feels like it's almost a reflection of how much importance we're giving to the World Test Championship. Whether that's right or wrong remain
You
to be
find
seen.
that. Yeah.
Chalo, good point to I think
Yeah.
end today's
Wrap
show.
up.
Any final thoughts on PSL or on the test setup?
No, no, nothing else to add. I think let's see. Obviously, looking forward to the playoffs on the PSL side, and I'm also look forward to seeing the test team. Right, so big fan of test match game cricket, test cricket. So I think looking forward to seeing Pakistan back in action in test cricket and see how this team does.
Yeah, hopefully they do well. All right. On that note,
Okay,
thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit a like. If you enjoyed the style and content, please hit a subscribe. Thank you very much.
thank you.